Joining me now to discuss the IRS scandal, a senior member of the Government Reform and Oversight Committee, the chairman of the Government Operations Subcommittee, via telephone from Washington, D.C., Florida Congressman John Mica. John Mica, it is so good to have you back here on America's Forum.
Hey, JD, good to be back with you, and thank you for getting some of the information and the rest of the story out to the American public.
Well, others may not cover it in the media. That's why we're not the media. We're Newsmax TV, and we're happy to talk to you about it. And, John, we begin with this question. Is this email the smoking gun? Is this enough to attract the attention? Because it was written 12 days after Ms. Lerner read a draft report on the targeting of Tea Party groups?
JD, I think this is may not be the smoking gun, but it's certainly one of the hot embers, and you're going to see many more of them uncovered. What's happening, and folks don't realize this, but we're getting, of course, we've asked for well over a year now, Lois Lerner's emails, and they've been very slow in providing them. They use the excuse of examining each document for privacy and IRS confidential information, which they have to do. They redact many things. We've gotten tens of thousands of pages, but it's a little game. So there are another, I think Koskinen told us yesterday, about 20,000 coming. So most recently we did get, I call it a smoking ember, which again leads us to believe that Lois Lerner, just days after the Treasury Department's Inspector General concluded in a report that those officials were targeting conservative groups, she started again this record cleansing, I have to call it, and she now we find out that there was also an internal instant messaging system. She wanted to make sure everything was cleansed. Now, isn't this strange that this is just a few days around the time this report comes out that she's trying to clean things up, and then suddenly 27 months of her emails disappear. It wasn't 18 minutes like Rosemary Woods with President Nixon, but over 2 years of emails disappear, and here she's cleaning up this, trying to clean up even this internal instant messaging system that we learned about through these emails.
And John, as you mentioned this, our viewers are seeing what our parent website, Newsmax.com, is reporting. Lois Lerner email found, warning that Congress might read her emails. There's another part of this, John, and it has to do with the behavior and the responses of legal counsel for Ms. Lerner, as her attorney is now changing his tune, revising he previous statements. Yeah.
Well, he had testified to us that there were no hard copies now of the emails. Now he has altered that statement and said that some were printed. So we're trying to get we're conducting a legitimate investigation of the chief revenue agency of the United States being used as a tool to dramatically impact and gag one of the political groups in our country that had, at the time, had gained a lot of power, at the time had gained a lot of public attention, at the time had gained a lot of support. So this was closed down by, again, one of the agencies that's supposed to be independent. Every taxpayer is supposed to be treated fairly, and groups fairly, and they were gagged, restrained, not just by our evaluation, independent evaluation of the Inspector General of the Treasury Department. So everything was being done. She orchestrated, as we know now, the speech before the ABA to try to blame the folks out at Cincinnati. And
yeah, a couple of guys in Cincinnati. It brings to mind, John, this, as we're talking about your constitutional role on that Congressional Committee of Oversight, down the hill a short distance from the Capitol, there's a hearing going on in federal court right now about Lois Lerner's records. But it's worth pointing out, whether it's Ms. Lerner or the IRS Commissioner John Koskinen, coming before a congressional committee and offering false testimony is akin to perjury. You can go to jail for it. Do you believe that either John Koskinen or Lois Lerner will face charges of perjury for lying to Congress, specifically for lying to your committee?
Well, I don't think Koskinen lied. I think he was kept in the dark and fed mushrooms. He just came on in January, and I think they only fed him what they wanted him to know. I've known John for years. I'm quite surprised that he didn't dig a little deeper. I'm quite surprised that he came before us, I guess, in April and had learned in March that there had been problems with some of the records he didn't disclose to us. But I don't know how much they told him or when they told him. He just came in the beginning of this year. What was stunning yesterday, and I asked Koskinen, there's been a so-called FBI investigation of this for over a year, and FBI has never talked to Koskinen. And I asked Koskinen if he could give us, for the record, and we intend to get that information.
Well, we will be watching.
Who FBI talked to.
We need to know
IRS.
that. Unfortunately, John, our time is running short. We thank you for your time.
Good to be with you.
Great to have you, Congressman John Mica of Florida, here on America's Forum.